Hello children, it's Nana Janet. I'm back to see you and to read for you again. It was lovely being with you, Abraham and Jad, and now we're back with little Aricha, Mary and Emma Rose. Oh dear, I've got a lovely book. This is a really beautiful book. Little Mouse finds a friend. Little Mouse is cold and hungry. The lights of the farmhouse tempt him towards food and warmth, but to get inside he will have to be brave enough to pass the dog and the cat. I don't think I've read this yet, but even if I have, I'm going to do it again. So it's a really nice book, and I'll try and show you the pictures as we go along. So here we go. Are you sitting comfortably? Now we will begin. Little Mouse finds a friend. One winter, Foxglove Farm was covered in a soft blanket of snow. Little Mouse sat in the barn and shivered. He was cold and hungry. He knew there were tasty scraps and a warm fire in the farmhouse, but he didn't dare go in there. Entering the farmhouse was a deadly business. First you had to get past the huge farm dog. His ferocious bark and snarling teeth were enough to scare the bravest of mice. Then there was the farmer's wife. It was said that she once cut off a mouse's tail with a carving knife. But worst of all was, I'm just going to show you the picture. I wonder what the worst of all was. Shall we turn over? And then we'll find what it was. The cats! She was terrifying. She had dagger-like fangs and claws as sharp as needles. Her large amber eyes saw everything, and her small black ears missed nothing. She could hiss like a snake and snarl like a tiger. Little Mouse had heard that the cat could creep up on you in total silence and then pounce with deadly speed. The mere thought of the cat made the little mouse quake with fear. Oh, here's the pictures. So now I'll turn over and see what happens next. The days passed, and Little Mouse became more and more hungry. Each day he roamed the farm in search of food, but there was little to be found. The horse guarded his oats, because he ate them out of the bucket. The chickens chased him away from their grain. The cows stamped their feet every time he tried to share their morning feed. The pigs wouldn't even let him share the kitchen scraps. I'll show you a picture. Oh, yes, that's sad, isn't it? So the poor little mouse couldn't get anything. By midwinter, Little Mouse was so hungry that he made a big decision. He was going to creep into the farmhouse and find something to eat. That night, Little Mouse waited until the dog was asleep in his kennel, and the farmer and his wife were snoring in their bed. Then he crept across to the farmhouse and peered in through the window. When he saw inside, what he saw inside made him squeak with terror. So, to show you what happened first. There. So, there was the big doggy asleep, and the little mouse was so hungry, just was creeping by. The cats was leaping up and down and spitting wildly. Her hairs were standing on end and her eyes glinted dangerously. It was a terrifying sight. Little Mouse was about to scamper away when the cat howled and flopped to the ground. Meow! The sound made Little Mouse stop and take another look. It was only then that he noticed something that gave him the courage to sneak in through the cat flap for a closer look. So before we turn over, I'll show you the pictures. You see what pretty pictures Nanny's got? They're lovely, aren't they? Whoever did these is clever. Very clever, aren't they? The cat's right paw was stuck in a hole in the floorboards. As Little Mouse watched, the cat tried to tug her paw free, but she only managed to hurt herself. Ouch! 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 Hissed the cat. Her amber eyes glinted with pain. Little Mouse was very scared, but he was also very kind. He didn't like to see anything in pain, so he crept forward to see if he could help. Gosh, that was a bit dangerous, wasn't it? Knowing how big the cat was. Oh dear. The cat's ears twitched. Who goes there? She hissed. Only me, squeaked Little Mouse bravely. Can I help you? So here's the pictures. So we'll turn over again to see what happened. I wonder what happened. Do you think that bad cat ate that mouse? Oh. Here we go again. The cat swished her tail and sighed. My paw is trapped, but I don't suppose a little fellow like you can help me. I'll just have to wait until the farmer's wife comes down in the morning. She began to lick her trapped paw so sadly that Little Mouse felt quite sorry for her. I can help, he declared bravely, and before he could change his mind, Little Mouse dashed forward and began nibbling at the wood surrounding the cat's trapped paw. So I'll show you the pictures of what's happening. Very good pictures, aren't they? Big cat, Little Mouse. I wonder why he was so brave. I do hope the cat doesn't turn nasty and eats him. Let's turn over, shall we? Little Mouse tried to ignore the cat's glittering eyes as he gnawed away. He tried not to think about her glistening fangs and sharp claws. He worked quickly, and soon the cat's paw was free. Thank you, purred the cat. She licked her sore paw and arched her back with delight. Her eyes glowed. Little Mouse tried to flee, but the cat was too fast. She pounced and trapped little Mouse's tail beneath her paw. Oh, she turned out to be a very bad cat, didn't she? Oh. That's not nice, is it? That little sweet little mouse tried to be so kind to that big cat. And what? Oh, I have to turn over and find out what happened now. Hey, don't run away, she purred. I'm not going to hurt you. Little Mouse gulped and looked up into her eyes. What he saw surprised him. Her eyes weren't scary at all. They were kind and playful. Little Mouse smiled up at the cats. Yum! The cat smiled back. Why don't you come and warm up by the fire? She asked. I can even find you some scraps of cheese if you like. Ooh, yes please, squealed the little mouse. I am starving. So I'll show you the pictures. Now we turn over and see what I said. I still don't trust the cat, do you? But maybe. So we've turned over. After Little Mouse had eaten so much that he groaned with pleasure, he sat beside the warm fire with the cat. By sunrise, Little Mouse and the cat were the very best of friends. Little Mouse had been wrong. The cat wasn't frightening at all. It wasn't at all frightening. She was the friendliest cat any mouse could wish to meet. Unfortunately, the farmer's wife didn't share this view on mice. She screamed and screamed and screamed. She screamed. Oh. She really did scream, didn't she? She jumped on the chair. So we turn over and see what the farmer's wife does. Humans are frightened of mice, explained the cat. That is why they make such a fuss. But what about the farmer's wife cutting off our tails with a carving knife? Asked the little mouse. Oh, that's just a silly story, laughed the cat. Snooze, snooze, snooze. But I think it's probably safer if you only come into the farmhouse when everyone else has gone to bed, the cat said, smiling. I'll show you a picture now. We'll turn over, see what else is here. From that day on, Little Mouse never went hungry. Every day the cat would leave little scraps of cheese inside his mouse hole in the barn. And every night, when everyone else was asleep, Little Mouse would creep into the farmhouse and warm himself beside the fire with his new best friend. I'll show you the picture. This is called Little Mouse Finds a Friend, written by Gaby Goldsack, illustrated by Emma Leach, who's very clever. ISBN 9780857261984, and it's £5.99. I think that was a lovely story, children, don't you? And it took much longer to read than the 5-minute stories, didn't it? Because I'm showing you all the pictures. But it's a very beautiful book. Thank you for listening. Nanny Janet will read another one very soon. God bless. Good night. Sweet kite. Bye bye. See you soon.